It's Jamal Thomas. Welcome to the Progressive Soapbox. So, guys, let's hop across the pond. I'm not doing that on purpose. I'm sorry. Hey, the British accent is a bad British accent. Yeah. So let's go to Britain. There was an interesting exchange yesterday in Prime Minister questions. I have to be honest. I'm fascinated by what's going on with regards to Brexit. I've done several of these videos because I'm kind of fascinated by it. No, I'm not in that country. Yes, I do pay attention to it. I do pay attention to European politics to some degree. I do have a bit of an understanding of British history, going back maybe 1,000 years or so. But of course, I'm not enmeshed in that culture. So if I am way off in my thinking on this, feel free to tell me to go fuck myself. If you do that, at the very least explain why you're telling me to go fuck myself. But I kind of want to make a commentary on this because I'm finding something amazingly fascinating that I'm not fully understanding. But this guy is really strongly Angus Robertson. He's the deputy leader of this SNP, Scottish National Party. The Scottish National Party doesn't want to leave. That's what it boils down to. They have some serious feelings about leaving the European Union, and they are making those feelings felt over and over and over again. Even to the point of threatening another referendum on whether or not they're going to stay with the United Kingdom. Let's hear the exchange and we can talk about it after. Look, I love British Parliament. I'm fascinated by it. Brits are some of the most caustic, vicious people in regards to some of the barbs that they be throwing at each other. It's absolutely amazing. This was a good one. Brutal, but a good one.
Angus Robertson. We once had a Prime Minister who said that the lady's not for turning. My goodness. Isn't it welcome that the Prime Minister today has admitted she is for turning with her screeching, embarrassing U-turn on national Mr. Speaker, only days remain until the Prime Minister is going to invoke Article 50 on leaving the European Union. And last July, she promised to secure a UK-wide approach, an agreement between the devolved administrations of Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland and the UK government before triggering Article 50. So when will the Prime Minister announce the details of the agreement? Prime Minister!
Said to the right honourable gentleman yesterday and to others asking me questions on the timetable yesterday, we will trigger Article 50 by the end of March. There will be an opportunity for further discussions with the devolved administrations over that period. But when the right honourable gentleman looks at the issue of membership of the European Union and his view of Scotland not being a member of the United Kingdom, I say this to him. He is comparing membership of an organisation that we've been a member of for 40 years with our country. We have been one country for over 300 years. We have fought together, we've worked together, we've achieved together. And constitutional game playing must not be allowed to break the deep bonds of our shared history and our future together.
I love politics. I don't even care the country. I love politics. She went and said, we've been together for 300 years. We've only been a part of this organization for 40. How dare you let this 40 years get into the way of all the things that we've shared together in regards to our history. Of course that's politics. That's just politics. Look, this argument to some degree is for him, but this argument is more so for the people that are watching it. These guys are already set in their opinions. When is the last time you've heard a political debate and the people make their case, and after making their case, the other side gets up and says, you know what, I hadn't thought about that, you're right. This argument isn't for them. This argument is for the public. They're trying to convince. They're trying to change minds. But look, does she have a point? That's the question. Does she have a point? Personally, I think both of them have a point. I don't think it's crazy to say, look, you said we were going to have not just a conversation, but an agreement before triggering Article 50, before formally going through what you're going to do in regards to leaving the European Union. You said we're going to have something going on with the devolved governments, that we're going to have some kind of agreement in place so we know what we're getting into. Now, in her case, she's like, yes, I'm going to talk to you. Well, that's not an agreement. That's just a conversation. Beyond that, though, I mean, I get where both of them are coming from. Scotland doesn't want to leave the European Union. She's been commissioned, based upon the referendum, to leave the European Union. So right off the bat, they're at cross purposes with one another. I don't necessarily think it's constitutional or gamesmanship, but he's staking out a position. This is what we want. This is the position that we want to take. Now, whether that position makes sense or not is a whole separate thing. I don't think his position makes sense, to be honest. But we'll talk about it at the end of this. But I don't necessarily think he's crazy for trying to pull out all the stops to accomplish his task. He's commissioned to do that by his country, or by the people he's representing of that country. Let's see the rest. By the way, screeching is brutal. Like, that's brutal. That's just brutal. And then they did a close-up on her face at the end of him saying, the screeching so and so.
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister can wag her finger as much as she likes. Last year she made a promise. She promised an agreement. I asked her about it yesterday. She didn't answer. I asked her about it now. She hasn't answered. When will she reach an agreement, not discussions, an agreement with the Scottish Government before triggering Article 50? She has another opportunity.
I recognise the passions. Mr. Wishart, calm yourself, man. I'm perfectly capable of doing that without your beneficent assistance. The Right Honourable Gentleman will be heard however long it takes. The Right Honourable Gentleman will continue. Yes, he will. However long it takes. Carry on, Mr. Robinson.
The Prime Minister promised an agreement. There's not an agreement. When will there be an agreement? Because does she not understand that if she does not secure an agreement before triggering Article 50, if she is not prepared to negotiate on behalf of the Scottish Government and secure membership of the single European market, people in Scotland will have a referendum and we will have our
Prime Minister!
We have been in discussions with the Scottish Government and with the other devolved administrations about the interests that they have as we prepare, as the United Kingdom Government, to negotiate a deal on behalf of the whole of the United Kingdom. A deal which will be a good deal, not just for England, Wales and Northern Ireland, but for the people of Scotland as well. And as we go forward in negotiating that deal, I think the Right Honourable Gentleman should remember this. Scotland will be leaving the European Union. It will leave the European Union either as a member of the United Kingdom, or were it independent, it's very clear with the Barroso document that it would not be a member of the European Union. What we need now is to unite, to come together as a country, and to ensure that we can get the best deal for the whole of the United Kingdom.
That's a rough bedside manner. That's like somebody telling you have cancer and you're going to die in a year. What this gentleman needs to know is we're leaving the European Union. Period. Look, she's right. They're leaving the European Union. But understand the situation that they find themselves. I mean, this is somewhat of a political thicket. One particular party, Scottish National Party, or Scotland, want to stay. They're very clear. We do not want to leave the European Union. The referendum says we're leaving the European Union. Not just that. Theresa May was brought on specifically to get Britain out of the European Union. That is an unresolvable thicket. But this has actually proceeded further. So Nicola Sturgeon, the First Minister of Scotland, kind of pushed this forward a little bit today and kind of brought up the point of an independence referendum, making this case of saying, look, you said you were going to have a deal with us before triggering Article 50. We want a referendum. If you can't necessarily come to some kind of terms, we want to have a referendum on whether or not Scotland is going to continue to be part of the United Kingdom. This is Theresa May's response to that.
When the SNP governed.
Okay.
Look,
And that's inconvenient. Ultimately, Theresa May said, yeah, no. Now, she didn't necessarily say no as an absolute. It was more so, yeah, we're going to focus on Brexit currently. We'll deal with this other thing after the fact if they want to have the referendum. She's kind of making this point like, look, our energies are going to be focused into Brexit. We're not breaking up the country, or not even putting the chance for the country to be broken up before the Brexit vote. All right. So I've kind of staked out the positions, and essentially saying both of these people have a case in this sense. All of these people are being commissioned to do things that are in cross purposes with one another. Here's the catch. I am not understanding the SNP here. I'm not. So the Scottish National Party is essentially, or Scotland, it's a pretty a progressive country. I mean, it's for the most part a welfare state. And I'm not using that welfare state term in a way that conservatives in the United States use it. I'm using it just in the sense of saying they take care of their citizens. The people who live there are taken care of by that particular government. They have strong social programs. I don't understand why you believe that your fate is somehow better outside of the United Kingdom with the European Union left to your own devices. I mean, understand, Angela Merkel, the conservative government of Germany, is the person who's, for the most part, the runner of that. They're the controller. Germany is the powerhouse in the European Union. Germany has been imposing austerity on multiple governments. Look at what they're doing to Greece. Look at what they're doing to Italy or Portugal. Even at some point, France is even going to take a hit in regards to the debt that are being created. They don't have control of their own currency. Meaning that the only way these guys are ever going to be able to pay that debt off is by constricting their economies. Constricting their economies, imposing austerity, has for the most part been damaging those economies. Greece is never going to be able to get out that mess while they're in the European Union, meaning that Britain is probably not going to be the only country to leave the European Union. Why are you trying to get into something that seems to be on its way down, or at the very least on its way up? And why do you believe that your welfare state is going to somehow be in better hands with Angela Merkel than it is associated with the United Kingdom? What am I missing? What am I missing? I'm not saying he's wrong for wanting to stay in the European Union, and I get the argument that people make. They try to cast it as this kind of racial or xenophobic thing. That's not where I'm coming from at all. I'm coming from purely from the standpoint of economics. I understand wanting to be a part of the single market. I get it. Fair enough. But what is little Scotland? And I'm not saying this is to be derisive. I'm kind of making this point that why does Scotland believe that they're somehow going to be better served within the conservative body of the European Union as opposed to being affiliated with the United Kingdom? It just seems like your fate is better off with the United Kingdom than it is with the European Union, particularly if you're going it alone, if you're going it by yourself. I don't understand why you guys think this is a better alternative. Is this just one of those things where Scotland wants to stay in the European Union, so politics is essentially following the will of Scotland? I could be wrong on this front. And again, I don't live there, so my knowledge of all these places are somewhat limited by the distance itself. But from my understanding of the European Union, and from the politics of going on in that European Union, and even the politics from an economic standpoint in regards to not being in control of their own currency, and about the debts being generated by these countries and the inability to pay those debts off because those countries can't, for the most part, run a surplus, and yet they're in almost like a permanent deficit. The currency, for the most part, is being driven by Germany. I just don't understand why Scotland thinks they're going to be better off in the European Union without the UK, as opposed to being a part of the UK. So, I get where Sturgeon's coming from. I get where Angus is coming from. Again, you can tell me go fuck myself. absolutely disagree that they're going to be better off than the European Union by itself. And for that matter, are they going to take on the euro? Is that really what you want to do? Do you really want to take on the euro after seeing everything that's happening to these other countries that are in the European Union itself and that are in the Eurozone? You may not want to go, but you may actually really want to go. Thanks, guys. Oh, by the way, if you guys like the content, like the videos, subscribe. Thanks, everyone.